Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the SCB Steelers Podcast, presented by DEK Roofing Inc. of South Florida. And we are very thrilled to be part of the Variety Sports Network. And your Pittsburgh Steelers are 5-2. They have one game remaining before their bye week, and that will be against the New York Football Giants on Monday night. And the Steelers will be wearing their Color Rush unis a week after wearing what should be their permanent uniform, but I think most people know that. Hello, Rattel. Hello, Jen. Hello, everybody viewing. Don't be afraid to jump in the chat. We are total assholes, but we really aren't that bad. Anyway, thanks for being here. I agree. I think if we can get the 6-2 at the bye, with the schedule we've got coming up after the bye, 6 division games, I really think that's going to be huge. And let's be honest, this is not a great New York Giants team. They have some good players, defensive line wise. They have, Malik Neighbors, great young rookie, but I think we all expect a victory. Not that I'm getting too far ahead of ourselves. We'll deal with that towards the end here. Okay, welcome, gentlemen, and let's get right to the elephant in the room. Ben, what were your thoughts on the performance of Russell Wilson?
Well, overall, pretty good.
Okay.
I thought he started out a little shaky. Took him about 3 drives to break out the hammer and knock off all the rust. And then once he did, he played pretty well. I was a little surprised they ran a quarterback sneak with him, to be perfectly honest, given the fact that he injured himself pushing a friggin' sled. But they did.
The same.
I have one concern, okay? Just going to put it out there now.
Yep.
He puts a lot of air under the ball when he throws it.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, yes, that's easier to catch. As Orlovsky pointed out today, you get more time to adjust, but it also gives the defense more time to run to the ball.
Yes.
So while Fields could put more touch on the ball and stop throwing it so goddamn hard, Russell could throw it a little harder and put a little bit less air under it. So that's my one criticism. Really, I'm going to throw out the first 3 drives where Russ played pretty badly. And just concentrate on the whole body of work, which was pretty good overall.
Scarps, your thoughts on the performance of Russell Wilson?
Well, as Russ likes to say, he's Mr. Unlimited. I am Mr. I'm Himited. I got that dog in me. I got 2 dogs.
You got a dog
me.
on you?
2 dogs, 1 bone, 2 dogs behind me. I saw a quarterback that hadn't played for forever in real football on those first couple. The thing that impressed me the most about him, and this is what to me separates him from Justin Fields, is that Russ has that experience. He seemed poised. He seemed unfazed by the slow start. He was confident. And apparently, according to the reports, he was telling the coaches and his teammates, we're fine. I'm going to be fine. Don't worry. So Ben, I agree. There's a lot of air when he throws it. And I don't necessarily know if his arm strength is right there. And maybe that's just a sign of rusty. But
Rusty.
I think he definitely made some throws that Fields wouldn't be able to make. And if you're a fan of Fields, I totally understand why you are, because prior to Russ, we had garbage at quarterback besides Mason, who was efficient. And the last quarterback we know was also in his upper 30s and showed signs of slowing, like Willy Wonka. There's certainly no signs of slowing. So I get it. But Russell Wilson is a lot smarter upstairs than Justin Fields is. He's seen the defenses so many different times. That fade to Pickens, and as you all know, I don't like 14 at all. But I don't think Justin Fields makes that throw. And if Justin Fields makes that throw, he throws it as hard as he can. And it's probably off the defender's, the back of his helmet. Yeah, I honestly like there was a stat that I saw that like what Russell Wilson did at that game, Justin Fields had never done ever. And it's like however many times like Russ has done that so many times in his career. There's a reason why they brought Russell Wilson in, and there's a reason why he was QB1 from the start, and there's a reason why he was immediately QB1 when he was healthy. And we saw that Sunday night. Now, I want to be clear. There are a few things that happened in that game that hopefully we could talk about. I don't think the Jets are as good as people think they are, especially their quarterback. And I thought he was doing fine until he got greedy. So,
greedy like he gets with the ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca.
He got behind.
Let
me
get Ian's take on Wilson, and then we'll come back to the game itself. Ian, go ahead.
So first off, Ben and I are wearing the same shirts tonight. So
outstanding.
Good choice, Ben.
Not planned. Not
planned at all. No. We're twinning, as I guess the kids say these days.
They do.
Yeah. So the game itself, I mean, you guys have pretty much covered everything. You know, he was rusty to start. It looked like a guy who hadn't played in a year, but you know, that's going to happen. But you know, you're absolutely right. He was telling the coaches, I'm going to get hot. I'm going to get hot. It's going to come. Don't worry. And that's kind of always how Russell Wilson has been, right? We've said on the show, we're going to be pissed off at Russell Wilson because after they lose, he's going to be like, relax, it's fine. We got this. Don't worry. But that's kind of calm, cool demeanor out on the field when things are going wrong to kind of keep everyone together is beneficial and keeps the team engaged and involved and believing in things. And, you know, that big shot to Pickens down the field, which really was the turning point in the offense that he hit down the left side, which I thought was actually more pass interference than the play Pickens actually got the flag for pass interference for, because that defender had both of his arms barred, and that was a hell of a catch by George Pickens to cradle that thing just in his arm coming down out of the sky like that. And the other thing, you know, what Russ does really well, or did really well in that game, but does really well in general. And part of it is, like you guys have mentioned, knowing what defenses are being run and things like that, but just putting the ball into space and letting his guys go get it and make a play, right? Justin Fields was waiting for guys to basically be college open to zip the ball into them. And we talked about this with previous quarterbacks too. Whereas Russ, you know, he hit Pickens on the fade that Ryan mentioned. He hit Pickens on that other rub route fade that was the juggling catch. Very nice of George to make a juggling catch with Lynn Swann in attendance, by the way.
Ooh, and
a couple to Freiermuth too, where he just kind of lobbed it out there and let his guy go get it. That those aren't throws where guys are technically open, but if you know the defense and know that there's no safety help over the top because they're playing single high over George on the other side, you can just lob that out there, let your guy run under it and go get it, and trust your guy to make a play. And that's a lot of what I saw in that game, was Russ trusting his guys to make plays. There was the crossing route to Freiermuth where he had a guy all over him in his face. He just did a little sidestep and flicked it out there. Another one, like that was like a 32-yard gain. It was basically a 6-yard pass that he just flicked into space, hit Freiermuth on the run. Russ, you could tell he knows the route concepts and knows the defenses and is able to execute and get the ball out under duress to guys that are going to be open because he knows what the concepts are. So overall, my overall opinion is this was the first time we looked like an actual, real, legit NFL offense, probably since early 2020, since before Ben's injury in Dallas when he hurt his knee, but they kept playing him because they were undefeated and probably should have sat him for a week or two. Or was that against Cincinnati? It was against Cincinnati, and they played him in Dallas next week when they probably should have sat him. But at any rate, since before Ben got injured, the first half of that 2020 season, when they actually looked pretty good, that's the first time we've looked like a real NFL offense.
There was almost a giddiness to it. Maybe that was just me, but in the second half, as we're actually doing positive things offensively, I was just like, oh my God, this is like so rare and so fun.
Wide receivers were blocking. Wide receivers were blocking.
Yeah,
finally.
And
go ahead, Ryan.
okay, you're right. And I sit there and think, like, do you think they were blocking because they actually believed in the quarterback and what they
Maybe.
were doing, and
Maybe.
not, and just kind of like how they just kind of look like they were a little bit more interested when Mason Rudolph was at the helm versus fucking Mitch and Kenny versus Justin Fields. And listen, if you're a Fields fiend, I appreciate you. I got a prescription for you. It's called
They
more
prefer
cowbell.
Fields fetishists. Fields fetishist. That's their preferred
And one
term,
quick point, and Rattel brings this up about Beanie Bishop, and good for that young man. He's been under
Absolutely.
He's
Hey,
been
that
under
first
scrutiny.
pick Beanie made was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, I want to talk about that, and I think the second pick that he made was a little bit more luck because that ball was
a
rated.
little bit.
Yes, but that first pick, I want to say this is that was a hell of a play by Beanie Bishop.
Yep.
But what I appreciate about Russ, at least so far, at least I know it's a small sample size,
Right.
is that he's not doing too much, because I think Russ understands his limitations. I know he says he's Mr. Unlimited, but I think he's smart enough to know what he can do. Because Aaron Rodgers, and I'm telling you, because Aaron Rodgers got super greedy at the end of on that Beanie Bishop play. I really do think if they just run the ball or do what they were doing, I think that's a totally different ball game. And he got greedy because if you watch the film, as soon as he throws that ball, he's like, and it's just like,
right?
Why are you letting? And no disrespect to Beanie Bishop, but why are you letting Beanie Bishop beat you? Like,
yeah, and I don't want to get too far into it, but you just wonder if Rodgers didn't have some form of freedom because Salah was gone, and Rodgers now just thinks, "Hey, I'm just
maybe
the ball."
Yeah,
that's just
maybe.
Ben, go ahead.
When a great player makes a mistake like that, you have to capitalize on it. And the thing that, again, from my standpoint, that was not an easy play to make. Bishop had to stop, change direction, and get 6 yards over this way to make the pick, and he did.
Yeah.
And the time the ball was in the air, which is probably less than 2 seconds. The dude, I gotta say, that was a hell of a play today.
Yeah.
And Smith mentioned today that all 11 guys played better. In particular, running the correct routes, running to the correct route depth, blocking to the correct angles. Like, everybody was working together better this week, and he complimented all of them. And I think that made Russ's job easier, because Russ wasn't making anybody's life easy the first three drives. So
no. Ian, what did you want to say?
Oh, to Rattel's point about running NFL plays, this was something I brought up last week when we were talking about why switch from Fields to Russ. And one of the things I said was, you need to actually see if Arthur Smith's offense is what you want to run at the NFL level or not. And you need a quarterback that can execute the full array of the offense. And I think we started to see that. And Russ even talked about, he had a 8 or 10 minute interview today with the press, which I was like, I've never seen a quarterback just stand there for 10 minutes and talk, but the dude loves to talk. He just loves to talk.
He does. He's a talker.
And one of the things he talked about with Arthur Smith was not only the play design itself, but the sequencing of plays, how he'll call things together to set other things up. But you need a quarterback to execute that properly. You need a quarterback that understands what play sequencing is, which is, it's not just you're going out there. It's okay, we're running 22 counter smash, and then we're going to run 22 counter play action to go back the other way off of that. You need a quarterback that understands offensive philosophy a little bit, and Russ has been around long enough and he understands the why, not just the what, right? I think Justin Fields got the what. I think he understood what they were doing, but I don't know if he got the why. And Russ gets the why.
That's a good
and
point.
Russ was walking up to the line, looking at the coverage, changing the play, trying to change the route
too,
changing the blocking to account for both the pass rush and the coverage, and trying to get his guys in a position where they could make a play. And that comes down to experience. And recognition has not long been Justin Fields' strong suit. We all know this.
Nope.
And this is probably an area where he's going to struggle a little bit.
To Scarps's point, the New York Jets were basically playing 3 or 4 FedEx delivery guys at one point in the secondary. And you can't dismiss that.
Sauce
Gardner
took advantage of it.
Well, no, Sauce Gardner withstanding. Okay. But the other three they were already banged up when they came in. They lost more guys throughout the course of the game. And I'm not making excuses. I'm just simply putting a point out there.
It's good context, though. It's good context.
And that's all I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, if we were talking about a really shitty performance from Russell Wilson, we'd be like, oh my God, he did that shitty against that banged up of a defense and whatnot, So you got to have some context, and that does not take away from the fact that Pat Freiermuth and George Pickens had tremendous catches, and that Russell didn't do some awesome things as quarterback, and Najee continues to run like an absolute monster.
TD just talked about this, and I think it was Ian this week that talked about in our chat, which you guys aren't a part of, but Mason McCormick coming along.
Yeah,
very well.
Man, that dude, he has improved a ton in about 3 weeks.
And let's call a spade a spade. His debut was horrible. It was really bad.
Good. It was sloppy. Yeah.
It was. Yeah. It was. It looked like a guy who had been playing FCS football who suddenly came to the NFL.
Right.
But the progress he's made in just a few weeks. He's out there mauling guys and playing with ferocity now, and it's really cool to see.
Not to mention a few dance moves as well.
Yeah, a little bit of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's not a great.
The other thing I wanted to mention.
He's not a great pass blocker, but he's really nice in the run.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to mention about Russ too, and you guys kind of hit on it, was I think with the wide receivers blocking, with all the extra effort we saw from especially George Pickens, because he threw a really nice block on that one crossing route to Freiermuth, I think, where he basically took two guys out by slowing down.
Yes.
But I think, Russ getting him involved early, and I'm sure Russ being Russ is over there on the sideline like, I believe in you. I'm going to give you a chance. I'll give you a chance to go make a play for me, right? And that keeps Pickens engaged because he got a couple looks early and got a chance. And I know, it shouldn't matter if you don't get a look. You should be ready all the time. But still, you
guys, it matters.
You got to keep them engaged, and Russ has played with big personalities before.
Russ understands psychology, right? That experience level. I agree with you.
On that Van Jefferson touchdown, Pickens took two guys away, and he could have half-assed that like he did in the Dallas game, and he didn't. But to me, that goes back to being
what you were
all
saying
in.
earlier.
And then the quarterback, and again, the Fields fiends. It's what it is, man. Rattel brings up a good point too, but I would just say that I didn't expect him to beat the Jets that bad. I actually expected the Jets to beat us because I thought Aaron Rodgers wasn't such a bum, but I think Aaron Rodgers is done. But
really breaks your heart, don't you? You hate to see it.
I have never gotten more messages or comments about. I'm not a Steelers fan
I've ever met,
but I hate Aaron Rodgers, so I'm rooting for you guys. I bet you I had that 12 times last week. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, Rodgers is just following the same Brett Favre career trajectory.
In many ways, he is.
Well,
now
is
a dick pic.
A dick pic to a reporter. Exactly.
Right.
Great minds.
Can I tell you this real quick, about that? Do you remember like his defense was that wasn't me, and he had like the Super Bowl fucking watch on that he played in.
That's right.
It wasn't I think it was Super Bowl 32 or the one after the Steelers won. 31. He had like a Super Bowl 31 like watch on, and he's like taking a pic of his private.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. How many people was it Mark Chmura? Actually, hold on. I think Mark Chmura did some inappropriate stuff with a minor. So I apologize. I'm sorry.
Right. Probably not the best alternative to go with there. Can I just say one more thing about the quarterbacks? I do not see in any universe where we are trading Justin Fields.
No,
I know
no.
There are people talking about it on different websites and obviously on social media. We are not too many
fucking people play Madden. Okay,
no doubt.
Madden is not a realistic example of what actually goes on in the fucking NFL.
No.
They were ready to trade Russell Wilson to the Dolphins 3 weeks ago. And Tua is back this week.
Right.
Everybody shut the fuck up.
It's just crazy. But
I'm sick of it.
Since we're talking about trades real quick, Rattel brings up Cooper Kupp. And look, I get it. Everybody wants the second receiver. I just don't. I think he's going to stand pat. I don't think they're bringing anybody in.
He might get traded. What I heard
Kupp
today
might get traded, but I don't think he's coming to Pittsburgh.
What I heard, I don't think so either. What I heard today is the Rams have lowered their demands to a conditional third. So now they're like, well, we'll take a third, but we want to turn it into a second if he's productive, he can stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, blah blah blah. You know, and you could put playoff conditions in there as well. Like, I think for the Chiefs' 5th rounder to turn into a 4, they have to make the Super Bowl with DeAndre Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
yep.
I mean, okay, that's pretty great condition there. So, that's a long shot. I mean, not really, not with Patrick Mahomes, but it's still a pretty long shot.
Yeah.
I don't think. Look, the Hopkins trade was a conditional 5th that turns into a 4.
Yep.
If he plays, I think 60% of the snaps, which he will, and they make the Super Bowl. But Tennessee's picking up 27% of his remaining salary for this year.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm Con, that's what I offer. I'll give you a conditional 5 that turns into a 4 in 2026.
We don't have a 4 because of the Justin Fields trade, though.
Right.
So do you think that's
maybe? It's not gone yet.
Ooh.
No, I thought it was.
I
thought it was a 4 that became a 3 if he played.
It was a 6 that became a 4 if he played.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not gone yet.
Let me ask you guys this question. So let's say that we did make a trade for wide receiver X. Okay. Could we trade
we need an X wide receiver? Yes.
No. Right. Well, yeah. Could we trade a conditional 4, even though we might not have it? How would that work?
You could, but
you'd have to put contingencies in.
Yeah, you have to put contingencies in there. Right. You have to say, okay, well, if we don't, then we owe you.
That's what I assumed, but I didn't want to speak out of my.
The other thing, so there's not only that conditional 4 that's already hanging out there, but the other thing too is, I appreciate that Con hasn't been willing to do something stupid for an old injured wide receiver, right? Like, yes, would it be great to have Cooper Kupp on our team? Would it be great to have DeAndre Hopkins? Yeah, actually, like the Hopkins trade was the one that made the most sense. But like, would it have been great to have Amari Cooper on our team? Yes, but at the asking price for what was paid for him, no, I'm not giving up a day 2 pick for basically a rental receiver. Like, that's crazy. So
I agree.
There's the cost benefit of it too.
Yes.
Like, what are you getting versus what you're giving up? If it's a 5th that could turn to a 4th, yeah, I'll trade that all day. We're terrible in
right.
We're terrible in
right.
round.
Right. Yeah, I would too.
And so there's that. And Cooper Kupp, when healthy, is a really good player, but when healthy, I mean, hasn't played a full season since 2021.
19 games missed since 2022. 4 this year. 4 this year.
Yep.
We're week 8, and he's already missed 4 games.
Like Ben said, this isn't Madden. Guys aren't healthy all the time.
Yeah.
No.
And
Scarps.
No, and so it's the Rams are up 21-17 right now against the Vikings, and the Vikings have arguably the best defense in the league this year, right?
Yeah. No, not arguably.
They got exposed a little bit against Detroit.
Listen, I told you guys earlier in the chat that like I say things so Steelers fans don't come at me because I don't want to argue with these fools. But anyway, the point is, why would they trade Cooper Kupp? Puka Nacua is back tonight, and they're moving the ball fluently. They're doing fine. So I understand that 2 and 5 is different than 3 and 4, but that division, especially with San Francisco, so hurt this year.
It's
who knows?
wide open.
Anyway.
Wasn't there a report that like the Vikings were actually looking at Stafford?
So that's the other thing too. These fucking reports, these people throw shit at the wall. Now, Diana Rossini, no disrespect, I don't know her, but I know people that do know her, and I don't believe she has accurate information. Now, she said that she was told, and she quoted a couple other reporters in it, that they were told that Cooper Kupp could be available at the right price or whatever it is. Now,
anyone's available at the right price.
Exactly.
She said a second.
She said a second. So
she said a second.
And now Les Snead is a pretty good GM. All right. He is the GM that orchestrated that Super Bowl win. Now, have they been back to where they were since that Super Bowl? No. But the bottom line is he's won a Super Bowl more recently than however many other GMs other than who's the Chiefs GM? I don't even know. Anyway,
I think.
Who?
No, is it Les Snead?
No, Les Snead's the Rams GM.
Les Snead's the Rams.
Is, Brett Veach?
The Chiefs
No.
is Andy Reid in practice, but in
Basically,
name,
Fair
somebody
point.
else.
Yeah, I think Veach. I think you're right.
Anyway, so
Vinny's
Les
got it.
Snead is not dumb. So if Les Snead says, "Okay, I'm gonna toss this out there to my contacts, my sources, or my reporters," and if someone comes and says, "You know what? I'll give you a 1 for Cooper Kupp right now." To be fair, that's a pretty decent offer, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So like these people float information all the time, but you know what happens, and this is what pisses me off so much about this is that anytime this happens, you got all these jag-off Steeler accounts with the blue check mark that just says he a Steeler, LMFAO, no cap, he a Steeler, all this bullshit, and they're the ones that get engagement. But yet, when the beat writers and the guys that actually cover the team and the guys that actually watch film say, you know what, this doesn't necessarily make sense, and they get hammered on Twitter and they get fucking hammered lambasted. I'm not drinking, but they get bashed.
Why not?
They get bashed on Twitter. But all these jerk off Steelers accounts that all they do every day is like, oh, please God, bring me Cooper Kupp. He's going to give us Stairway to 7. No original thought, no substance, just total bullshit. And you all fall for it.
Let me ask all three of you this question because it's relevant to this topic that you just brought up. Are the Steelers a contender if they add Cooper Kupp? Can they win a Super Bowl this year if they add Cooper Kupp?
I don't know.
I say no.
He looks like he's still hurt tonight. Puka Nacua, who was hurt, looks way better and way faster.
Here's what Cooper Kupp gives you, though. It's not necessarily being a number 2 receiver, which is important, but I don't know how much we need that in Arthur Smith's offense. I mean, I think you can kind of piece it together between other guys. What it does is it gives you George Pickens insurance. That if George Pickens pulls a hamstring, who the fuck is your number 1 receiver?
Muth.
Like, honestly, that's the question, right? Like, if George Pickens pulls a hamstring or turns an ankle or something, who on this roster right now becomes your number 1 receiver? They don't have it. And that's why I think is the bigger value of getting a guy like a Cooper Kupp or someone else.
Yeah.
To have that insurance policy.
And how many times in the last 6 years have we gone into a playoff game with one of our main guys missing?
Yeah.
It seems like every year, whether it's a running back, TJ Watt, it just seems like it like we're doomed for that. I don't know.
Okay, but wait. Answer the question straight up. What do you guys think? Yes or no?
I don't think so. I say no.
Yeah.
Are they contenders?
Does adding Cooper Kupp this year mean the Steelers can beat the Chiefs?
No.
Yes.
No.
The Chiefs. All right. The Chiefs are playing really not great football,
and they're undefeated.
Right. Yeah, they just are finding ways to win.
They're winning games. Great teams do that.
They do.
Yes, good teams, as Bill Cowher put it, good teams find a way to win. Bad teams find a way to lose.
Like that team in Cleveland. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. Like those Brownies. That's so Brownsy.
That said, do I think? All right. Do I think we could beat the Chiefs if we had Cooper Kupp? Yes. Do I think we could win 3 games on the road in the playoffs? No. So, because really, that's what we're talking about, right? Like the Ravens are, in all accounts, most likely going to win this division. So if you want to say we're Super Bowl contenders, that means we'd have to
win the division too.
And we have to win the AFC Championship game in Kansas City.
Maybe might have to win a second round game in Kansas City, depending on how the playoffs work. But I mean, I'm just saying, right? We'd have to win 3 road playoff games is what it would take. I don't think we can win 3 road playoff games. maybe depending on the matchup. I don't think we can win 3.
And I would just like to reiterate something we've said at the very beginning of the season is that this year our number one goal is get this team a playoff win.
Please.
Yeah.
Anything after that would be freaking gravy.
Would be gravy. It would be fantastic. But that would be okay. This represents progress.
Yep.
I'm encouraged.
Yep.
Yes, they got their asses kicked in the second round, but it's all right.
I want to ask one. I want to ask one more thing about the offense, and then we'll talk a little defense and stuff too. But and you guys kind of alluded to this, but did you guys think or sense that the players on offense just responded better overall to Wilson?
I think that Scarpino made that point about 15 minutes ago.
Well, he did, but I wanted to go a little more into it in terms
I hate that
of
Scarpino guy.
He's an ass. Into it in terms of what's the reason for that? Is it just because he's a veteran Super Bowl winning quarterback?
Scarps, no, go ahead, go first because you already made the point.
Oh, God damn it!
No, you made the comparison to Rudy, and you're dead right. So go.
I just, and yes, and I would say that my criticisms of George Pickens this year have been met with 90% people saying, you know what, you're right. He needs to be more mature. He's been in the league a couple years. But the 10% that was like, well, if the offense just did better, he would be more on board or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
people making excuses for him. Well, he's pissed off because blah blah blah. You'd be pissed off too.
And I don't agree with their excuse making, but looking at it, they're not wrong because when look at Mason last year, when George Pickens was performing the best that he had all year, pretty much, Mason was the quarterback, and the dude was like fucking happy and whatever. And it shouldn't be that way. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't emphasize this enough. And I'll say this too about a guy like a Landon Roberts.
Yeah.
When you're around guys
that
win things, it's contagious. And that is why the Steelers for that, 2004 to 2010 period were so good.
11 even.
Yeah. Because they had guys on the team that won, and they had it against in the same conference as Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. Like it's not like they didn't own anything. Like we talk about Cowher's teams in the 90s where like they probably should have actually won more, but they didn't. But like we've gotten so far away from guys that have won things.
Yep.
As Steelers.
Right.
Now we bring in guys that have won things from other teams where you're a Landon Roberts, you're fucking Russ Wilson, and that is contagious. It really is. And I don't care what anyone says. When you're in that locker room and you're listening to a veteran that's won and has not only won, but they've performed at an all-pro level or Pro Bowl level or whatever you want to call it.
And that's what I was getting at.
To buy in.
Yep.
It's so easy. What has Justin Fields done?
There was some lady on Twitter today that said momentum in sports isn't real, and got a ton of retweets.
Momentum in sports is why Aaron Rodgers threw picks on Sunday. He was trying to get the momentum back. He felt pressure to try to make a play, so he got a little greedy where he was putting the ball
before the game,
trying to make a play. Yeah.
Were you guys surprised at all?
Time, Ryan, you're spot on.
And we're good. We all love, even the Ben. All love.
Were you guys surprised at all that Tomlin did not go to Fields on those quarterback sneaks?
A little bit.
I was a little.
Fuck Justin Fields. Put his ass on the bench. He's dying. Get him out of here.
No, I disagree.
No.
But I do want him to watch.
No disrespect.
I look at the two, and quite frankly, the second one, Wilson almost bobbled it. I mean, he kind of bobbled the ball and almost didn't get the first down. I just wonder when you've got a dude that
was that
size
a bad snap or what? He just bobbled.
Just something wasn't right. I mean, you could.
I was like,
see.
what the fuck just happened there? Well, he got it, thank God. But I was like, was that almost a fumble, or did my eyes
maybe Art
deceive me?
Smith is waiting to use that type of the Fields package later in the season. I don't know. I just found it a little odd that he,
or was that sneak a setup for something else?
Possibly.
I wondered that in the moment. I was like, okay, they did this formation, they got everything going, they ran the sneak, they got it, it was successful. People are going to see that on film, and now they're going to expect it. Is it a setup for something else, for a quick pass that might go for long yards later in the year?
Of setting up something else, I really enjoyed the hard boot and then toss to Darnell Washington.
Yeah.
However, at some point you got to have another play off of that. I think they ran it about 5 times, and after the second or third time, the Jets were like, "Yeah, okay, we see this coming." So hopefully,
but you run it until they stop it.
The first one started to
like 30, 20 yards, 25 yards.
Well, first couple times, but after that, it was chop him down at the legs and that kind
of shit. But Smith has run plays back to back a few times this season. The same play, the same fucking play, or he runs it to one side and it doesn't work, so he runs it to the other side. I'm like, dude, what do you? Okay, that didn't work the first time.
He's an unusual play caller,
to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not Mad Canada. He's not. Thank God.
No,
but that's a compliment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's setting the bar really low, right? You're right. You're right on that. But he's and granted, some of that was with the skinny playbook with Justin Fields.
Yes,
as Dan pointed out earlier, they probably ran a bigger playbook this week.
No doubt.
And definitely, I mean, like I said, the fucking wide receivers were blocking. They were blocking.
That was the
first thing that jumped out on me. I was like, why is Najee running so well? Oh, the wide receivers are blocking. Holy shit.
Yeah. I want to ask you guys this question. Ian, I'll start with you. Who is your defensive MVP not named TJ Watt?
Oh, not named TJ Watt.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh boy. Honestly, I think it's Deshaun Elliott. I mean, he's just been playing so well. He's been all over the place, and and that's not to take anything away from Dante Jackson either, because Jackson's been a really nice addition to that secondary.
Yep.
And I was kind of surprised that after James Pierre came in the game that Aaron Rodgers just didn't throw at him every single play.
My God, was Pierre awful.
It was not good. Actually, but that brings up another point too. Sorry, but I wanted to make this earlier, but I kind of glossed over it and it got broken up.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson, not only has he been around for a while and knows what's going on. Yeah.
Look at the bottom of my glass.
Yeah. Okay. But Russell Wilson took advantage of the Jets' injuries in the secondary, that when he saw, I've got George Pickens on a guy who isn't Sauce Gardner, I'm going to him. I'm going to take advantage of that matchup, right?
Yep.
Fields was going out there and basically running plays as they were called and trying to make things happen for good or for bad. But Russ was actually, you could tell he was looking at the matchups and being like, Sauce Gardner got hurt on that last play and went out. I'm going to go after his replacement right now, which is what good quarterbacks do. It's what Ben did at the prime of his career.
Yes.
We finally had actual real NFL quarterback play. It was they've got a bunch of UPS workers in their secondary. Well, we're going to attack the guys who aren't Sauce Gardner when we get those matchups.
Yeah. And he even threw at Sauce Gardner a couple of times, which I was okay, that was ballsy. I don't know why you did that, but all right.
I think that was all about I trust 14.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that's what he was saying.
I think it was, and we've talked a lot about getting guys involved and all of that shit. I think it's having a quarterback that is old enough, has been around long enough, who's been around competitors and understands the psychology around it, and knows how to motivate them. And getting that guy involved was absolutely intentional. You're right.
Yep.
But it's psychological. It's not just about, it's not coddling him. It's, hey, man, I'm trying to fire you up. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Ben, I believe my question about defensive MVP was hijacked a bit.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I'm gonna have to go. We're talking not
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt. It's
Yeah.
100% Cam Hayward.
Wow.
Without fucking question, Cam is playing lights out. I do not believe how well he's playing at 35.
Love it.
I am fucking shocked.
Okay.
The dude
All right.
is he's been consistent. He's not prime Cam. I'm not saying that, but the dude has been really fucking good. And
I can't argue.
yeah, you can go. Oh, the PFF has him ranked number 1. PFF sucks, but Cam's playing well. Really is.
Scarps, what
Yeah.
you got?
Give me 1 sec.
He's
and-
doing stats.
Hey, listen.
You gonna go with
Fucking
Dante
chill.
Jackson?
I am, and
Good choice.
and
Oh,
and I am.
nice choice.
I am. I
Nice
am.
choice.
Who did he go with?
Clap. Dante.
Dante Jackson, and I want to say this: TJ
Best
Watt
addition,
is
no
TJ Watt
question.
is not the defensive MVP right now. He maybe he
Yeah,
is
he is.
because maybe he is because
He draws
people-
so much attention.
pay attention to him so much.
Yeah.
Dante Jackson allows a quarterback rating when targeted of 34.8. This guy, like, literally, I mean, he's legit. And as much
Best
as I hate
addition this year.
as much as I hate that they traded Deontay Johnson, and we're definitely seeing the ramifications of
Yeah.
making that trade.
Yeah.
Right? We are. I don't
Are
care
we?
about his personality. Yeah, we are.
Are we? Are we seeing the ramifications of having an entire fucking offseason to replace him and not doing so?
I think it's a little bit of both, and I
I
think
agree,
that's fair.
Ryan. I agree.
But for Dante Jackson and
Yeah, Vinny, you're right.
I would love to talk about Minka Fitzpatrick a
Vinny's
little bit
comment.
later in this show.
Dead on.
I'd love to talk about Minka Fitzpatrick.
Tell you
later in
what,
the show.
you have the conch. Go ahead.
Okay,
talk
well,
about him now.
So Dante Jackson is my non TJ Watt defensive MVP.
Okay.
So let's talk about Minka.
All right.
And
Not so good right now.
I want to because I'm going to die on this hill until he does something, because I've been doing this for weeks now. Here we go. Last 17 games, which is a full season now for the NFL's highest paid safeties per year in order.
Uh-huh.
Antoine Winfield Jr., 10 pass defensed, 3 interceptions, 5 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries. Derwin James, 7 passes defensed, 1 interception, 2 fumble recoveries. Minka, 4 pass breakups. Xavier McKinney, 11 passes defensed, 8 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. Jesse Bates, 10 pass defensed, 4 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, and 1 touchdown.
Bates
Now
is on fire.
Steelers Twitter is going to tell me that quarterbacks are avoiding Minka. Well, are they avoiding the other guys too? Now, I know they don't play this. Actually, do they all play free safety, or are they just safeties? Regardless, bottom line is Minka hasn't done a goddamn thing in the last 17 games, and yet people still defend him. So I sit here and think, if we're going to say TJ Watt isn't the defensive MVP, in my opinion, it should be either Cam or Minka. And one of us said Cam. Nobody said Minka, and nobody even thought about saying Minka. And when you're the third highest paid safety in the league per year,
That's
you
the
have
key.
0.0 Blutarski other than passes defensed over the past full season, something's up.
It
sucks.
It sucks that our $3 million safety is our best safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's all I was going to say.
Yeah. No, I there's nothing that Scarp said that I can disagree with.
I have a hard time defending him.
I do believe,
and I want to. I believe in him, but the guy just isn't.
I do believe he has come downhill well and tackled pretty well when necessary. But for a guy making the money that he's making,
He's made some special teams plays this year. That,
I need way more than that.
The block field goal last week. Was
and
it an
that's
extra
the
point?
second time.
It was an extra point.
That's
The blocked extra point last
Yeah,
week, and then they gave us the penalty, and they got 2 points out of it.
Yeah.
So that's a 3-point swing. That was bullshit. I mean, yeah, the NFL tells you on
That is
It's
fair.
the second time the NFL's told Mike Tomlin, "Hey, sorry, we screwed up."
we blew that. We blew that call. Well, it doesn't really help you after the game is over, but it is what it is.
It's the second time Minka got flagged for. That looks like it was wrong, so we're going to throw a flag, but it actually wasn't.
Maybe if we would have thrown a bunch of bottles on the field, then the referee would have gotten with the officials and talked about it and reversed the call.
To Scarpino's point this week on the Twitter, when he said,
not just Scarpino,
when he said that, would we really argue, would we really gripe if the game was 10 or 15 minutes longer, but they got these fucking calls right? Why not let everything be challengeable? And this is something that Belichick argued for. Just give them 3, make everything challengeable, everything. And you keep that flag in your pocket till it really really need it.
And I have to pee after this, and I know I've talked a lot, but I will say that I don't know. I know they've already tried to do this for pass interference, and it didn't work out well. I'm not asking for pass interference. I'm talking about a potential scoring try. So if all scoring plays are reviewed, how is a point after try not a scoring play?
Right.
It is.
It's a great point.
It is,
but they won't review penalties. They will not review penalties, period, at the end. It's like, really?
If you expanded it to scoring plays or scoring tries, that is part of a scoring try, so you'd have to review. And here's the other thing, too. The fucking NFL is valued at $140 billion. You can't hire some fucking intern nerds that
Nerds!
I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying you got to pay a guy $20 million a year to do this,
right?
But like, you can't hire a couple up and comers that are like fucking love the game and are like, I'm watching all these screens and like I'm gonna give you an accurate assessment of this. Like that type of shit should be able to be solved in under 60 seconds. And the ref says, after further review, that was not a penalty, and the try is no good, and kickoff. That's simple. It doesn't have to be anything fucking like extravagant.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about before with pass interference being reviewable for a year, that was during the Al Riveron era. It was destined to fail because Al was trying to make every single call on the field that was made ratified. Didn't matter what it was, he wasn't going to overturn it. He did his best. And it was something fucking ridiculous. Like 70% of challenges didn't fly.
And the one thing I wanted to mention too was that you also had that play where Alan Lazard looked to be a little short, and the eye in the sky, if you will, said, no, he's got a first down. Well, if you can do that, why can't you do that with other things?
Yeah.
I mean, that was just ridiculous to me. I when I saw the play, when I saw the replay, I'm like, he's about a half yard short. This isn't even close, but they went ahead. Oh, no, you got the first down. Go ahead and move the chains. There's just too much.
Yeah, it was over a foot for sure. He was over a foot short. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, but they point out all the time, the line of the broadcast is not the official line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blah, blah, blah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Nope, very fair.
But they do line it up with that marker you put in the sideline there. So it's pretty fucking close.
It's damn close.
So what you're saying is they were way the hell off.
And while we're talking about Minka's block that wasn't a block, can we just have a little love fest for Danny Smith here?
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Danny Smith.
Look,
that video I sent you guys today of him working out in the Steelers weight room with his shirt off. That was hilarious. How do you not love that guy?
I'd love to know what year that was from.
Why were you in the background somewhere?
No, I think it was after I left. I'm just like, he would this is what I always used to say. So full transparency and disclosure. I've known Danny Smith my whole life. All right. He grew up with my dad. My dad went to Alderdice, which is a Pittsburgh City school. Danny Smith went to Central Catholic. I've known Danny my whole life. And I remember being a young kid and asking my dad, Dad, if Danny's from Pittsburgh, why does he have a Southern accent? And then one of the coolest things in my career was I got to work with him for like 5 years.
Right.
From 2013 to 2016, that's 4 years. But Danny, he like that clip of him saying like we're cut from a different cloth. Like I don't know if you saw that this week, but like that was like he said, this is how white dudes say that they are him. This is how boomer white guys say they are him.
Right.
I'm cut from a different cloth. But like the other trendy thing about kids is like you hear about this kid like it's called like they say raw dog. Like they go on an airplane, they don't watch any iPad or phone or whatever. Yeah. That's literally what it's called. Listen, there's another connotation to that. I'm just saying. But Danny Smith, I used to think about this all the time. This motherfucker would hop on the Stairmaster for like an hour. No fucking headphones, no iPod, no nothing. And just sweat for an hour. And meanwhile, I'd be sitting there like watching the TV. I got my headphones on. Like, he'd be like, Danny, how the fuck do you do that?
He was thinking of ways of blocking extra points and field goals. That's what he was doing.
Cut from a different cloth.
Hey, you know what?
It's true. So like that dude, and you know what? The other thing too, he has been under scrutiny for a long time.
I'm guilty.
And this fucking dude,
yep,
he's been there since 2013. And this dude's his units, that's what she said, have produced. And with all the punters and kickers he's had to go through,
oh dude.
I can't not give him his kids say his flowers. So
no, there's been times I was
regardless of what anybody thinks, I will tell you guys based on what I've been told several times. Mike Tomlin loves the guy. He ain't going anywhere.
Oh hell
he retires.
No, he'll
or Mike does.
Yeah, Danny Smith will make his own choices. There's no doubt in my mind.
So will Mike.
Yeah, that's for sure too, Scarps. Giants coming up this week. Any concerns based on what you guys have seen so far and your views of the
only one
their defensive line?
Yeah.
My concern is their quarterback is terrible, and well, maybe he's due for a halfway decent game, and he'll throw for 400 and 3 touchdowns and 3 picks.
I mean, I think, Danny Dimes can move around a little bit in the pocket. I think our guys have to be aware of that. But I also tend to believe that our guys know they have a bye week coming. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for this to be a letdown game, a trap game, whatever the hell you want to call it. They should be ready to go.
And Tomlin teams play pretty well on Monday nights. Let's be frank.
I went through this today. He's 10-0 at home on Monday night.
At home on a Monday night.
What's that?
He's never lost at home on a Monday night.
Right. Now
on a regularly scheduled Monday night
game. Correct. Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Regularly scheduled, yes.
Right. The caveat.
The COVID year.
He's 20-3 overall on Monday night game. It's a color rush. I don't know about you guys, but the crowd on Sunday night was as good as I've seen it in a while.
The crowd in Vegas was good. I mean, God.
No question. I'm not going to argue that at all. But
also because the crowd didn't have to sit through a friggin' lightning delay for 45 minutes. Like,
true.
Yeah, that was an hour and a half, man. It was an hour and 25.
Yeah,
that was awful.
Yeah.
Ian, are you in attendance Monday night or no?
No. I'm going to the Ravens game and the Browns game, and I think that's it this year.
Okay, I might be at the Ravens game. I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Might 50-50. Yeah.
All right. Well, everything in life is 50-50. You either do it or you don't.
Well, this is true. I'm at the mercy of Craig and his tickets. So
okay.
Which right now his daughter has. So I'll have to.
Okay.
send her an illness or something so I can go. In any case,
no, the Giants' defensive line's pretty good.
It is,
especially considering we have a backup center. Although Ryan McCollum was better than I thought he was going to be. Like he had some struggles, but
sure.
I expected like Sean Mahan level absolute disaster, and he was not that. He was
I thought McCollum was much better than I had anticipated. I thought his communication was outstanding. That dude you could see his head turning constantly. You could actually hear him at times.
Let's
in
just
the broadcast.
say, like a 1-game progression, it was pretty impressive. I didn't think he was good, but he was way better than in Vegas. Way better than in Vegas.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Where are you guys with Broderick Jones right now?
I'm glad you asked, Steel Dad.
Are you?
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck is going on with him. It bothers me that he's got the arm injury and they're putting him on the side where he's got to use that hand the most. And he's at a disadvantage. He can't use his punch. So I get it that he's not playing all that great. But then there are times where I'm like, dude, did you even know your fucking assignment on this play?
It's bad.
It's not good. And I think that if he had James Daniels standing next to him, it'd be easier.
Yeah.
Sorry, it just would.
I mean, I find myself feeling for the kid a little bit. I look at it because he's been moving around so much, but then when you look at the fact that I don't think he's 100% at all. That you can tell with the lack of punch. He just there's a couple of plays where he like the ball is snapped and he'll like take 2 or 3 steps forward, and it's almost like he looks around as if he's the only person in the fucking stadium. And,
I get back to I get back to wow, that was one of the nicest punts I've seen this year. That's what she said. In this Rams game,
Presley Harvin.
No, Evans is his last name. Some guy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I know what his name is,
right now.
but
some fucking guy.
Some
What's
guy.
the score now?
It is 28-20 Rams. With 146 left in the game. The Vikings have no timeouts, and they're on their own 2-yard line. So if Jordan Addison
Vikings are a good
gets a 98-yard touchdown right now, I appreciate that.
And we should also
tonight,
mention Pitt is playing tonight as well against Syracuse.
Pitt is
right?
Fucking smacking the Syracuse Orange, and Pitt is about to move to 7-0. I didn't go to Pitt, but I've always been a Pitt fan. Called God.
Pony picked Syracuse to win tonight, 31.
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. I love Andrew, but like,
which is why Syracuse is losing.
Andrew's a troll.
Here's the thing. That tweet that he sent tonight, you could and other people who work with him, like Chris Muller and other people, have said on Twitter, like he now basically just tries to reverse jinx things. Like he says basically the opposite of what he actually thinks, because he's like, oh, I know that I'm like the reverse jinx and the opposite of what I say always happens. So Philip Pony, being the biggest Pitt fan, went out there and was like, oh yeah, Cal McCord's gonna light him up tonight because he's so good. Like you knew he was like that was an absolute troll.
He went to Syracuse though, so you don't quite know if he's real or not. He's fucking Eddie Mush from fucking The Bronx Tale.
He is.
Get him.
He is Mush from The Bronx Tale.
Do not get him out of here. Don't.
Dude's a fucking jinx.
Don't let him look at the kid.
Wait, Antonio Brown sent you a fucking shirt, Aaron?
If you didn't know, Aaron did some graphics work for Mr. AB.
When?
Oh, years ago.
Recently?
No. Many years ago. Yeah. Anyway. Hey, Ian, I wanted you.
What were we talking about? Sorry.
We were avoiding talking about Antonio Brown and that shit show, so we're just moving on.
Well, no, Ian, I wanted you to just real quickly kind of pimp yourself a little bit here, because you're going to be and going with Whippeal.
I do. That's right.
Yeah, the Whippeals.
Yeah. So this week is the last week of the high school football regular season in Pennsylvania, and the KDKA radio news team has been doing a WPIAL game of the week every week where they broadcast it and then have a little post-game show afterwards where they run through scores and all the other stuff. And I've developed a pretty good relationship with those guys. So I'm going to be on the post-game show tomorrow night at probably like 9:30-ish. So it's at
Face
Dave &
mask on a
Buster's.
quarterback?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Dave & Buster's in the North Hills. So if anyone's up there near like what used to be Northway Mall, come by, say hi. But yeah, it's so from whenever their broadcast ends until 11 o'clock. So like
Nice.
9:30 to 11 on KDKA radio. I will be actually on the radio. So it'll be cool.
Fantastic.
So you will actually be on site. People can meet you live and in person.
They could if they want to, yes.
My understanding is there is a line forming already outside of Dave & Buster's. Yeah.
Speaking of that, there was a face mask, deliberate, clear face mask on Sam Darnold in the end zone. And the Rams, they didn't call the penalty, and the Rams got credit for a sack. It's 30-20, and you can't fucking tell me that Vegas, not the Raiders, is involved in these games.
What's
it
the
was
line?
so clear and deliberate, and they didn't call it, but it's under 2 minutes, and you can't challenge penalties. Give me a second here. One of the most egregious penalties I've seen in recent memory that was not called.
What was the line tonight?
The Rams were getting 2.5.
Okay.
So they were covering anyway.
Yeah. What about money line?
The Rams had the money line.
Oh
Everybody was going to bet the Vikings.
It's horrible. It's really bad.
Everybody's betting the Vikings, though. The Vikings are the better team.
Okay.
Everybody's betting the Vikings. It's a clear fucking penalty, and they won't fucking. It's such bullshit. This is why I only put a minimal amount of money on parlays, because this is bullshit. It's bullshit.
Scarps is revealing his betting
bullshit.
strategy, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't bet anybody in this game. I just watched this game, even for fantasy purposes.
That Matt Smith, thank you. That I didn't mean money line. I meant over under.
Over under was 49.
And they just hit 50.
50?
Under 50.
Do you know how many people are pissed off right now?
I mean,
Matt Smith,
but
we don't agree on everything, but you're my muse, so you fucking bring me back to life.
I don't know that this is like a Vegas thing necessarily, but
it is. It's fucking
I will just
bullshit,
point out
dude.
that the officiating has been fucking shit this year.
It's
I mean,
really
we can
bad.
have Ian just give us a diatribe on how awful. By the way, Ian, who's our ref this week?
Oh, that's a good question.
I wrote it down.
Wow,
But-
I'm shocked.
Scott Novak. Scott Novak.
All right, Ian, go ahead.
The last
From
time
memory,
we had
what
him,
did he
hold
do?
on. The last time we had Novak was the victory over Green Bay last November. Eight penalties accepted in that game. So that's not actually too bad.
Eight
that
is
means
not
he
bad.
was no, he was letting them play.
So Tom saying once again, Scarps reviewing scoring plays even for penalties. Okay, so now you don't get Cooper Kupp because they're not trading him at 3 and 4.
No, it isn't. It isn't just 3 and 4. It's not just 3 and 4. It's the fact that they beat the Vikings,
pick
who
your
are a
poison.
good team.
Yeah,
pick your poison. So is it Scarp's fault
Vikings,
or is it the fucking $1 billion league?
It's 100% Scarpino's fault
to referee the games.
It is 100%. It is Scarpino's fault for sure. But again, the point is you're 3 and 4 now. You're not 2 and 5, but you also just beat a very good team.
Oh, thank God Melvin made it.
Hey,
that was why I thought he was still at the Maxwell concert or something.
Melvin,
Maxwell.
all of us. We need to get together with Melvin at some point and drink.
I got no halftime phone call this week because Melvin was watching Maxwell do his thing on stage. He was being a good husband. That's what he was doing. He's being a good husband.
You were just being a smartass. He really
wasn't. No, I was not. He was being a good husband.
Listen, referees already wear black and white stripes. I say after the game, just put them in the paddy wagon and take them straight to jail. They're already in uniform, and just jail them until the next game and be like, "Are you gonna fucking do better?" Then you're going back to the big house.
We did a little bit, Matt. We did talk Cooper Kupp, and again, with their performance tonight, I think it's less likely. But
we don't think it's going to happen anyway.
Correct. We're not on board with that.
Well, wait, hold on. We're not on board with Cooper Kupp for a day 2 draft pick. If we get Cooper Kupp for a 5th or a 6th round pick,
thank you.
then I'm
yes,
all for
yes. Clarification. Yes, absolutely. I mean, we'd love to have him. We just don't think it's going to happen for a 2nd or 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Again, the Giants will come in Monday Night Football. And looking
their
at
offense sucks, by the way. Let's talk about their offense a little bit.
It does, but their ratings, where they fall in their rankings, it's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be.
True.
Yeah.
But you watch their offense play, and it looked like
they have no running game.
Malik Neighbors is really good, though. Malik Neighbors is really
I'd
good.
love to have that guy.
Yeah. He was deserving of a top 10 pick for a reason. But other than him, their receivers are okay. Wan'Dale Robinson's a pretty nice slot receiver, and if we didn't have a slot receiver, I would be like, hey, let's go get him, but we already have a slot receiver. And Slayton,
we have a ton of slot receivers. All we have are slot receivers.
That's true.
And Van Jefferson and Dickens.
I would just like to point out, Aaron, 3rd place is the second loser. We don't allow that. We want winners on this program. So we're going to have to talk to Jax and get that team playing a little bit better for next year, man. Come on.
Hey. The Steelers are tied for the 3rd best record in the AFC right now.
Isn't Ohio State tied for the 3rd best record in the Big Ten East or something?
It's like do you guys remember
legends?
Who was it? Was it Joe Lieberman who was like, we're tied for 3rd in New Hampshire. We're going to make a run for the president. It was after a primary. And it was like,
that was
Howard Dean.
Howard Dean. Yeah.
No, Dean.
It was so weird.
No, Dean did the scream, but I think wasn't it Joe Lieberman was like, we're tied for 3rd in New Hampshire, so we're really good. I'm pretty sure
because New Hampshire has decided the election for the last fucking.
Hey, wait a minute. Vinny's an OSU guy also? What the hell's going on around?
No, Vinny's an OU
Sorry
guy.
for getting political there.
Just
all right.
No, keep it going. Keep the well.
That was just a tied for going. 3rd reference.
Everyone hates all the Ohio University Scarps. You know this.
It's true.
I got
Ohio's
piss.
just
Don't let me. I need to talk about the Giants. Give me a second.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Ryan. Talk about the Giants.
No.
Giants go to Ohio.
I'll come back.
By the way, the G-Men are celebrating their 100th season this year.
Oh.
They're one of the few franchises older than us.
By being terrible? They're celebrating it?
Yes, they are. And again, I cannot emphasize enough how important winning this game is, because personally, to me, I think 6-2 is a big difference than 5-3.
I would tend to agree with that, but I think honestly, given the second half schedule, every single game is super important.
Oh my God.
Because that second half schedule's fucking brutal. I mean, we looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, and we thought Washington was going to be easy because they got a rookie quarterback. Their defense is kind of not great. Their offense is ridiculous. That's not going to be an easy game.
Daniels is banged up a little bit. I'm hoping
that offense is really fucking good.
I do agree, Matt Smith. I think the Browns are going to be actually more dangerous with Jameis than they were with Deshaun.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, apparently there's some discord within the Cleveland organization.
Big time.
Jameis apparently called his own plays. He disregarded the play that was being called.
Yep.
And changed it in the huddle a couple of times. And one of the plays that he called was a pitch on 4th and 1. He changed the play, and it did not work. It failed
miserably. Yeah, miserably.
And there's some thought within the organization, as I understand it, that maybe there's some divided loyalties there already.
Well,
and the guy
they're
has played like less than half a game.
they're handing over the play calling to Ken Dorsey.
We know how well that worked out in Buffalo. I
Right.
loved the way he picked up his laptop and slammed it on the desk.
Right.
That was fantastic.
Matt Smith maybe with the line of the night right there.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a pitch not working.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the only time it has worked recently is when Najee kind of cut through everybody.
Yeah.
But
actually, that was pretty well blocked. I got to give the blockers credit for that.
Yeah.
People in Ohio love Ken Dorsey because of the 2002.
The game in which the phantom Ohio State pass interference call was made.
Yes.
Didn't Ken Dorsey go to Miami?
He did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he was the quarterback when they played Ohio State for the national championship.
When Ohio State got lucky and robbed Miami of their championship.
Yeah.
But be that as it may.
Well, I'm sure that's actually 100% true because Aaron really loves Ohio State.
Well, Aaron was probably like 3 years old at that.
It doesn't matter.
I was in high school. I remember that game.
Yeah, I remember it. I mean, and basically, yeah. I mean, the refs kind of screwed them. It happens, though. I mean,
it happens. It does. It does.
Ian,
what do you got for a prediction this week?
Oh wait, we're not doing Casey first.
No, we'll do predictions first, then Casey.
We never do Casey first.
Casey's always last.
All right.
How drunk are you, Ian?
I don't know.
I was gonna say I thought I was buzzed, but here's a guy.
I was drinking this larceny small batch bourbon that I found on sale for like $28, and it is so.
I like Larson.
Larceny just stole Ian's line.
I'm a burglary guy myself.
Seriously, larceny that's some good whiskey. I got gifted a bottle of that a while ago, and I was like, wow, this is actually really good shit.
I picked up some Four Roses this week.
Four Roses is good too.
Yeah.
The Steelers should beat the hell out of this team. The only thing that could slow them down is if the offensive line forgets how to block their defensive line and Russ throws 3 picks. But the Jets matchup worked out really well for Russ because the Jets like to play a lot of man coverage and the Jets like to play a lot of single high, and their single high was shading over Pickens almost all the time. So Russ was like, oh, I have this whole other half of the field with one-on-one matchups. Okay, let's do this, Freiermuth or whoever else wants to go. I still think at the end of the day, the Steelers are the better team, but they're going to do that stupid thing they do where they don't really have a defensive game plan and let the other team march down the field on them in the first quarter and are like, okay, then we'll make adjustments and then we'll, fix things and lock it down in the second half. They've been a really good second half defense this year. So I'm going to say the Giants come out, probably get a 7-3 lead early because we're going to struggle out of the gate again because we always do. And then we'll turn it on in the second half, score a couple more touchdowns, and I'll go Steelers 31, Giants 13.
Okay, 31-13.
Wow. Oh, Rattel just I wasn't even looking at the chat. I was trying to look away so that I wasn't seeing what was in the chat. So Rattel copied my score exactly. But I'll go 31-13.
Wow. Mental telepathy. Scarps, what do you got for the prediction coming up this week?
Hater.
Shut up. Oddly enough, Daniel Jones is so much better on the road than he is at home. That is very strange.
Yep.
Steelers going into a bye, feeling a little good about themselves. I still have the Steelers winning, but it's going to be a lot closer than you think.
Okay.
I have the Steelers 24-20.
Whoa! 24-20. Holy shnikes. Ben, what do you got?
I have Daniel Jones directing a couple of drives in the first quarter that actually score points and then sputtering and doing not a whole hell of a lot else. I think Alex Highsmith is going to have a big game this week. I think he's going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities versus the left tackle, and he's going to have pressures and sacks and be productive. So I have the Steelers 28-6 this week.
Wow.
6. Wow. Okay.
Holy fuck.
I'm gonna go. I'll make it unanimous. I also am gonna go with the Steelers. I'm gonna say 27-16. 27-16. I think.
Am I the only one score game?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I think they'll get a few field goals, but not
He
much
prides
more
himself on that. He's a contrarian.
Absolutely. Is Casey Kasem available this evening?
Always call.
Always, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Casey Kasem.
From the grave.
Kisses coast to coast, American Top 40. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the week that was October 24th, 1977.
Ooh.
Our favorite correspondent, Ryan, is back with us again this week, and he writes, Dear Casey, I was working part-time at a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr. Mike T. Told me several times he didn't like my kind because I didn't know how to read the D.
Oh.
Was that I was doing something close to nothing, not making my reads like the game before. That's when I saw him. I saw him. He walked into Accra Shore. He wore a Russ Berry Beret. Casey, that's of course the parody of Prince's Raspberry Beret, which made its way all the way up to number 2 on the Billboard charts in 1985. I was going to make a Justin Fields comparison to Prince, but that would be as big a slap in the face to the fans as the Steelers drafted Kenny Pickett in the first round of the 2022 NFL draft. Justin, again, I appreciate your efforts, and I understand why the Fields Fiends came to your rescue, but it's time for bed. Let the grown-ups speak. Casey, it sure felt a little stuffy at Acrisure Stadium Sunday night until Russell Wilson threw one of his infamous moon balls. To be clear, that is not the nickname Buzz Aldrin gave to Neil Armstrong. However, I'm told that's what Sally Ride called Michael Collins.
Astronaut humor.
That's a little NASA space joke for our audience. I was going to make a Challenger joke, but I didn't want to blow up my spot.
Wow.
Oh,
ouch.
Shit.
Getting back to Russ's moonballs. When that bad boy went up into the air, I thought it was going to touch the top of Acrisure Stadium. Even Viagra and Cialis were jealous. I haven't seen that many grown men hard since Ryan Clark decapitated Willis McGahee in the 2008 AFC Championship.
Oh, yeah.
Russ was poised. He was confident. He was never rattled. He's a competitor. He is everything we were told we couldn't measure about Kenny Pickett, but he's actually good at what he does. Russ is the epitome of a leader on and off the field. It's beautiful to see good quarterback play. Casey, I just want to tell Russ that you light up my life. Well, Ryan, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars. And keep your radio tuned right where it is. Staying at number 1 this week, here's Debbie Boone with You Light Up My Life.
All right.
You know, I am convinced that people wait until about an hour and 10 minutes into this program because our numbers always get higher. I think it's all Casey Kasem
People
fans.
like Matt Smith.
Yeah.
My muse.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God! You know they should have been here for the original Casey when we were all hammered and you were gone.
I was gone. Yep.
Yeah, that was super fun. What was that show? 3.5, 4 hours?
That was the original overtime show.
That was the original overtime.
Oh, Mark's
Yes.
gone. Well, we'll just keep going.
Yeah, you're right, Claude.
Well,
That
we
is
couldn't.
one
We
sick
couldn't
dude.
end the show because Mark had the controls. Remember,
So we
there
just
was
kept drinking
we
and
just-
talking.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Mark had left. There was somebody's comment was up on the screen too, and we couldn't take it off because Mark had the controls.
Yeah,
and
I
his
lost
power
power
went
or
out.
something. I don't
Yeah,
remember
your
what
power
it was.
went
Yeah,
out, and you
yeah.
were gone, and we just kept talking. Yes.
Oh,
That was great.
oh God.
Yeah,
That
Melvin
a
was
great
there.
show.
That's
Listen,
right.
That was so fun.
I appreciate being part of this Casey thing that it fucking stemmed from our drunkenness on an overtime night. But we got a good show. And listen,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not just
for
saying
sure.
that. We got a
For
good
sure.
fucking show.
Yeah, we had a
And we're
great
not-
show. I agree, and it's fun to do, and it's
Yep.
fun all the interaction with people who show up every week, and we
Yep.
we appreciate you all so much.
Mhm.
You make this so much more fun to do. I'm just letting you
No
all
doubt
know.
about it. It would not be nearly as fun without people. with
Not
comments.
even
There's
maybe.
no doubt about
Yeah.
it. No doubt. Hey, we're gonna wrap it up right there. Hope everybody enjoys the game. Again, it's a Monday nighter, 8:15 from Acrisure.
From
and oh, by the way,
Field at Acrisure.
yeah, just by the way, in case you guys were wondering, I think there's a game in Germany this week, and Machine Gun Kelly's going to be doing the halftime show. I know you all look forward to that.
As
So-
if us kicking their ass in World War II wasn't enough, we got to send Machine Gun Kelly over there.
I thought we were friendly with Germany now. We're going to send them that guy? What the hell? Anyway, make sure you check out the site, steelcityblitz.com, and all of our socials, which I'm not going to go through. You'll figure it out. Anyway, have a great night, everybody. And as always, go Steelers.
And check me out on the radio tomorrow night.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I'll tweet
check
the
me
link out.
on the radio
Bells
tomorrow
to
with
the
the
A,
Whitfield.
Ian.
From Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, in
And
the
hey,
North Hills.
Ravens suck. I mean, not really, but yeah, they suck.
Yeah.
They always suck.